Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. You know what? I'm going to go for it with Romania. We're going to try reducing their autonomy. They might accept. We'll see what happens. They accepted. Wonderful. That is very good. That is going to improve our finances significantly. 9.15k from Romania. That is excellent. I'm very pleased with that outcome. All right. So we're about to get to the end of our construction queue here. And we're still having a little bit of a difficult time with the construction queue because the investment pool hasn't been increasing at a rate that I've been hoping it would. So we're going to have to figure out how to deal with that. Luxury clothes are still pretty affordable. I'm going to see if we can throw those at Java and Mexico. And some more at Prussia. That'll keep our textile industry increasing in profitability. Let's see, what else? Luxury furniture. We can definitely export some of that to Java as well. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding National Guard, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the armed forces, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no desire of the laws of the sorry, have to wait for a second, like a big dummy. Makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. Ugh, oh, I butchered that one. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. I have virtually none opposition to this. So I can say National Guard will be on everyone's lips, which will give me an extra enactment chance. I can say it puts the armed forces in a good light, or I can ensure the play gets a wider international audience, increasing my prestige. I'm going to do that third one. Always be increasing prestige. Ew, and we have diplomatic connections with the Grand Duchy of Finland. That's interesting. Once again, that does give us a little bit of infamy, but I don't need to worry about that much. San Marco and Medina. Oh, interesting. Medina's got a very... What was that sound? Not sure what that was. Medina's got a very interesting border here. You're just the same color as the Papal States. You're not together. You guys aren't an item. And then we have San Marco. That's interesting. Sardinia-Piedmont has gotten a hold of this territory here. Tuscany, that's right. So I think it is possible that we might see a unified Italy in this run, since Italy is getting slowly kind of consolidated down here. Austria-Hungary, you're still wary of me, but you don't need to be. Not that I intend to keep consuming more and more of your territory. So, what else do we need here? We definitely need additional munitions plants. I'm going to queue up actually a few more munitions plants. I'm going to put them in ID. And there's the repeaters tech. That's wonderful. I'm going to enable that right away for our arms industries. That's going to increase the tools cost, but, you know, I'm sure we can find people to buy all those guns. Countries. I'm sure we can find countries to buy all those guns. Still in a little bit of debt, but I'm doing okay. With a lot of help from my puppets. And from France, who, of course, is continually providing me with what I need. How are things going with British Raj? They're still conciliatory. Oh my gosh, this civil war is still going on? Heck. I feel like this civil war has been going on a long time. One of these sides have... Oh, the British bourgeois revolt isn't at all occupied, and the British side has war support protection because they don't have all of home counties. That's wild. We're going to see a Britain that's heckin' cut in half for a bit. There's education up to level 2. Very pleased about that. I'm continuing to move up to level 3. That is wonderful. Yeah, we'll see how things go with National Guard. Hey, we're in adoption. Excellent. And our interest groups are doing well. I think we've had a large increase in loyalists, which I am pleased to... Well, no, it doesn't look like we have, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm feeling like our loyalists have gone up. That said, I think I'm going to try to stop bolstering the intelligentsia. Because I think I can live with having a slightly more contested government, and the intelligentsia are currently led by a protectionist, but he's not going to necessarily be leading this thing forever. And once he gets out of office, they're going to align much better with the industrialists. So I think I'm going to risk this. And the reason I'm risking this is because I've got to get more. I'm really low on cash. So we'll go ahead and put some consumption taxes on opium and coffee. And there's chemical bleaching. That's excellent. So chemical bleaching is going to unlock a couple new production methods. Number one, it'll unlock a new method for paper that'll add a dyes input. Now, our market has quite a surplus of dyes. So that will be very effective. That'll make these massively more productive and will absolutely tank the cost of paper. And that will make it much cheaper to do a govern on this here massive empire. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to enable a new ceramics method. This is going to reduce the amount of glass produced at the cost of increased dyes, and that's just fine. Excuse me? Oh, you know what? I don't necessarily... Hold up. So these produce 50 levels of 50 units of glass and 20 units of porcelain. And if I go to this, they're going to produce... Oh, interesting. This is a new pop-up. If I go to Bone China, they're going to produce 15 levels of glass and 55 units of porcelain. That's bananas. There's not like a balanced method for... Oh, I see. It's meant to be with houseware plastics at the end. Unless, of course, you don't need any glass hardly at all. And I'm using glass on what? I'm selling it, and I'm using it in urban centers. And Pops are using it. Interesting. That's quite curious. I really need to get... Am I not... Did I not build absolutely stonks tier textile industry? I believe I did. It also looks like the private sector is building a little bit more. So I am pleased about that. Economy's growing at a solid rate. Economic growth could be higher. So I'm in kind of a funny place here, because on the one hand... Oh my gosh, Great Britain's going to lose its civil war. Yeah, look at that. 7 per week. They're going to lose. The bourgeois are going to take over Great Britain. Say it isn't so. Say it isn't so. Hey, there's National Guard. Ooh, happened a little earlier than I was hoping. Because... happened before I could get education fully built up. Still, that's lovely. So, how can I get to interventionism? Local governors will be mad, bro folk will be mad. That's okay, though. We're doing it. That should really help with the... that should really help with our overall financial situation. Is there anywhere I've got shortages in taxation capacity? No. So let's go ahead and build up government admin just in the capital. This will have a side effect of also increasing the political strength of my intelligentsia, which will be very useful. So I'm in this funny place right now because, on the one hand, I am accumulating wealth again, finally, accumulating gold reserve, and I'm tempted to... I'm definitely going to increase construction at least a little, but I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to be outrunning... Because this situation here could end at any moment, and I genuinely don't want to put myself in a situation where where I don't have the capacity to function without a French bankroll. So I think we're going to be careful with how we do that. Where's iron here? Okay, so we can tolerate... If I go with 5 more levels of iron... Construction sectors cost us 50 units of iron per level. So if I go with 5 more levels of construction sectors, that'll cost us an additional 2.5... That'll cost us an additional 0.25k, and I can actually afford that on our construction sectors as we've got them running right now. And I think we're going to build up Ankara. I think that's the plan. Just looking at places I've got unemployment here. I'm going to put some in Albania as well, because we've got quite a bit of unemployment there. Do I want to do this first? I think the answer is yes. I'm going to do it right now, and then we're going to queue in... Actually, I don't need to queue in iron mines, because we're going to have dynamite pretty soon. Let's go ahead and get fertilizer use in all our farms. For the livestock ranches... I've got so many tools now. I can definitely go ahead with. I can definitely afford to go ahead with using a tools-intensive method. If I do increased wool gathering, that will produce fertilizer and fabric. How's fabric versus meat and consumed grain? So how's fabric versus meat in my market? Oh, grain is actually expensive. Oof, that's not great. Well, I think I can tolerate it for now. So how's fabric versus meat in my market? Where's meat? Meat is very affordable right now. But fabric is also reasonably affordable. And producing a little bit of extra fertilizer would be useful. Because fertilizer is actually pretty expensive. So, yeah, I think it makes sense to flip over to increased wool gathering for the livestock ranches. We just got mechanized workshops. This gives us access to sewing machines, which increases tools, fabric, and dyes inputs for our textile mills. We're still pretty good with dyes, right? Those are not all the way at the bottom anymore. In fact, dyes are the most expensive thing in our market right now. That's absolutely bananas. I had no idea. So where can I get some more dyes? Borneo. We can put some in Borneo. Tabriz. Oh, I can get a lot of dye production in Tabriz. We'll queue in 5 levels of dye production. Wow, that was a ton of... That is absolutely bananas. How did I... Oh, because all of it... Okay, so I'm like, wow, my finances are not doing nearly as well as I thought I would here. A lot of 8 success, that's excellent. And I'm like, why is this happening? And I'm realizing it's because the investment pool doesn't have the capacity to use all the construction capacity that I just produced. So the government's paying for all of it. And that's why it costs us a huge barrel of cash. So Debris is getting dyes. And I think... But clothing is still expensive enough that I think it will still be productive to switch over to sewing machines immediately. Furniture manufacturers also have a mechanized workshop option. Wood is pretty expensive in my current market. That's going to be tough. So let's see where we can support the wood industry. Where we can support logging. Okay, so where is most of our textile mills? Most of our textile mills are in Lower Egypt. Right, and I can form that company now. Da-da-da-da. Available companies. Loyalists from SOL increases. Where's the... And this one's reduced radicals from SOL decreases. This, does it say... Okay, I'm going to establish Ottoman textile. I think this is the one. Cool. Alright, radical. So, I was looking at furniture manufactories. This is almost assuredly going to be worth it, but I want to get increased wood output in order to make sure that that goes the way we need it to go. So, where are we building hardwood? Because we don't need more of that. Only Bulgaria. So that should be fine. So I can increase this as much as I like. Where do I have a lot of capacity? Not a lot of locations. This for sure is not Europe. Let's build it all up in northern Thrace. Alright, and we'll intersperse these. Once all our industrial stuff gets finished out here. Industrial and government. I'm really trying to get education up to level 3 because I really have got to get my literacy increasing at a reasonable rate. On the other hand, the government admin is pretty expensive. But frankly, less expensive since we went to more efficient paper production. Let's go ahead and go to mechanized workshops here. So what does that do to furniture levels? Okay, we're doing pretty well for furniture. And all of this should be kicking the standard of living up by at least a little bit. We're back in the red financially. But that's all right for now. Local governors are big mad about the move to interventionism, but they're just going to have to deal with that. God, they're still so freaking powerful. Tenant farmers and legacy slavery, that's the thing that's really killing me. That and their average wealth is crazy high. They're also pushing to preserve agrarianism, which is not great for us, but I'm hoping we can get... If I pull the industrialists in... No, I can't do that. Pulling the industrialists in will reduce my legitimacy to the point where it's going to be inefficient. This is potentially gonna be a real struggle, friends, but we'll see. Ooh, an agitator for landed voting. Part of the industrialists. Well, hopefully you'll help with this situation. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of interventionism by Jalaluddin Mulos has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the industrialists. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Jalaluddin Mulos' arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if this mishap was due to the inherent failings of interventionism or can be chalked down to the political incompetence of the industrialists. I don't want to lose a bunch of enactment chance. I can trade one setback for 10% enactment. It's going to reduce the time, and I'm going to go for that. So I'm going to scrap the current draft and make a show of a rewrite. That's going to get us up to 31%, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm hoping we can capitalize on that to get some successes and maybe get this thing going. Really unfortunate that you're working towards enacting landed voting because your Suleiman Manas is aligned with the industrialists, and it really would be nice if he would work on interventionism because we need that if we want to continue to have an economy. Okay, France did eventually stop bankrolling us. Alright, so that's okay. I think we can tolerate that with our current level of functionality. 20 weeks. So part of the reason this is going a lot slower than you might think it normally should is because we're still working on getting the necessary bureaucratic capacity up. And we're going to need to continue to increase that in order to get this moving again. But once we get to level 3 on that, it should be just fine. I'm not going to reduce... The temptation to reduce regular policing and increase home affairs is pretty high, but I'm going to try to resist the temptation for now. Where are we with paper? We're still doing pretty rough. I think I'm actually going to... We're still doing pretty rough with this stuff, but we'll see how that goes. I'm going to increase coal mining. We only have coal mining in southern Serbia and Aydin. And Aydin is more central, so we'll go ahead and build up 5 levels of coal mining there. Let me see. We're working on the dynamite method. So that's going to cost us 70 more explosives in the iron mines, 35 in the lead mines, and 50 in the sulfur mines. So that's 150. Oh, and 110 in the coal mines, but really 140 in the coal mines. So that's about 300 more explosives. So where's explosives here? Wow, we're going to need to increase the explosives industry significantly in order to support the increases in mining that we're going to be doing once we get once we get the new technology. So, can we cover it with the move to vacuum evaporation? That'll produce 240, which is almost enough. So let's go ahead and increase... Man, we're all over the place with these explosives industries. Let's build up Konya. And then we'll have enough to do what we need to do. The Ottoman East Borneo earthquake. An earthquake has hit the state of Ottoman East Borneo, destroying buildings, injuring people, and even taking some lives. It felt like the whole world was ending. Luckily, none of us were hurt, but our house was destroyed. The state will have to figure it out on their own, 20 devastation and chance of famine. We should put some money into relief. Oh, that's a lot of money. Two years, 10K government expenses. But no chance of a famine. Let's do it. I can kind of afford it. French Republic wants an alliance. Sure. Oh, Italy went ahead and formed. Nice. Which country were you? Our relations are okay. Oh, our relations are pretty good. Emperor Carlo Alberto di Savoia. Okay, so that's probably Sardinia Piedmont, which is the historical form of Italy. Let's go ahead and improve relations. Don't want a defensive pact yet. Austria-Hungary, what are you internally? You're an autocratic monarchy. Prussia, autocratic monarchy. France, wealth-voting presidential republic. Great Britain, wealth-voting monarchy. Interesting. Oh, man. Oh, right, because all the other interest groups got weaker. Interesting. So I think this was probably a little bit more government administration than we really needed, but I think it'll be worth it. We're back up to position 7 in the rankings. We've outpaced Spain, and Italy's in there now properly. We're still kind of neck and neck with Austria-Hungary and the United States, and if we get a little bit scrappy, we could probably get past Prussia as well. How much infamy have we got? We're at 0 infamy. Oman will accept. Let's go ahead and reduce their infamy. Reduce their economy. To outside observers, the intelligentsia may appear firmly committed to the idea of interventionism, but behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now a clique of dissenters have finally had enough, and have officially broken with their fellow members over the issue of the reform. For how long have we stood together? How many times have we lent a willing hand your way? Yet our own concerns are left unanswered and our own desires unmet. If we shall not be heard here, we shall be so elsewhere. Splitters, may the devil take them. This reduces... Oh, this weakens the intelligentsia a lot. Loosen the purse strings. Perhaps we can lure some of them back. Reduce snag chance by 10%. That's not great. Costs us some cash. Or offer them custodianship over a new draft. I'd be taking another setback, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go with loosen the purse strings. It's going to cost us some additional cash, but honestly, I think we can tolerate it for now. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal in the long term. And I think a lot of this stuff... Yes, this is only 2.5 years, and this is another 2 years. So these are going to go away, and that's going to help our finances out significantly, I think. I hope. Hey, there's education all the way up. And we've got a healthy buffer of bureaucratic capacity. It is costing us quite a bit of cash, but that's... We're just going to have to tolerate that. So how is the investment pool? Investment pool is still not taking up much of what we're doing. So part of the reason we're doing this is because agrarianism increases investment pool contribution efficiency by 50% for aristocrats and capital and farmers, but reduces it for capitalists. Interventionism, on the other hand, has it basically even. Ideally, we would go to laissez-faire, which would increase the proportion for capitalists. What that's going to do over time is the private sector is going to be, number one, capitalists contribute way more than farmers and aristocrats do. But number two, capitalists build the sort of things that ensure that there are more capitalists, and that strengthens the industrialists, whereas aristocrats tend to build stuff that makes there be more aristocrats, which is the local governors, and then rural folk do the same for rural folk, and then farmers do the same for rural folk. So overall, it's a lot better to have interventionism than it is to have agrarianism. With that having been said, that's going to be the end of the episode for today. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you all on the other side.